Hello everybody, my name is Jeff Salvitabar. I'm economic professor and I want to talk about elasticity of supply to in a way that it will be a lot easier for you to understand. So all the issues about elasticity of supply. Okay, the supply elasticity and relation to time. If you really want to find out, if you want to understand, for example, that if government imposes a tax on products such as gasoline or cigarette or soda drinks or any of these things, you want to know who ultimately paid that tax. Do you think you, consumer, pay the tax? Or do you think companies pay the tax? That's important to know. Well, also, how sensitive is quantity of, for example, computer supplied to changing price of computer. Like if price of computer goes up by 10%, how much supply goes up? Or how does length of time affect price elasticity of supply? Elasticity, as you know, is a term economists use to describe that responsiveness or sensitivity to a change in price. So, the elasticity of supply, price elasticity of supply is just ratio of percentage change in quantity supply of a product to a percentage change in its price. So, numerator is percentage change in quantity supply, denominator is percentage change in price. And the numerator, which is percentage change in quantity supply, is calculated by having change in quantity divided by average quantity. So Q2 minus Q1 over Q1 plus Q2 over 2. And percentage change in price, which is denominator of elasticity, it will be change in price over average price. Now, the step to calculate elasticity. There are several steps. The best way to learn it how to calculate elasticity, if you do this step, I guarantee you can do it very easily. Step number 1. Always find out what's your P1, P2, and corresponding Q1, Q2. For example, P1 is 10, P2 is 12. Let's say corresponding Q1 when P1 is 10, quantity is 100. When P2 is 12, quantity is 120. So like that. Second step, find the difference in quantity, Q2 minus Q1, and difference in price, P2 minus P1. Third step, find the average quantity, Q1 plus Q2 over 2, and average price, P1 plus P2 over 2. Step number 4, divide the difference in quantity by average quantity. The result will be numerator of the equation. Divide the difference in price by average price. That result, that will yield the denominator of elasticity equation. Step number 5, divide the numerator by denominator in step 4 to get the elasticity value. So graphical representation of elastic supply. If supply is elastic, means the value of elasticity you calculated is more than 1. Means numerator is bigger than denominator. Means if price go up by 10%, like here, quantity only go up by 20%. So 20 over 10 is like 2. So elasticity is more than 1. That means suppliers are very responsive. Supply is elastic. Inelastic supply. That means the percentage change in quantity supply is less than percentage change in price. So numerator is less than denominator, obviously means the answer is less than 1. So 10 over, for example, 4 over 10 is 0.4, is less than 1. That means supply is inelastic. That means suppliers do not show any major response. Do not show too much sensitivity to price change. Okay? And value of elasticity could be 1. When percentage change in quantity supply is exactly equal percentage change in price. You divide it together, value is 1. And also there is some cases that supply is perfectly elastic, horizontal supply. In that case, the elasticity is undefined. Okay? Because any number divided by 0, percentage change in price is 0, it would be like undefined. Okay? And finally, supply is perfectly inelastic, which means the numerator is 0. Divided by any number is 0. Okay? Perfectly inelastic. Supply is vertical. If it's vertical, means it's impossible to increase supply. So no matter what the price, supply is the same. Like Jackie Kennedy's belonging. When after she died, the supply became perfectly inelastic because we couldn't produce that anymore. Like Van Gogh's painting. After he died, it was impossible to increase supply. So supply curve is vertical. Okay? Now, how about supply relation with elasticity of supply relation with time? Well, the longer period of adjustment is to change in price, the higher is price elasticity of supply. This refers to goods whose quantity supply can increase with time, a characteristic of most goods. The obvious reason is that additional production takes time. Now, if it doesn't take time, if it's a quicker, however, cover instances like when additional production may be impossible, say, original Picasso. Oh, if it has nothing to do with time. If it's not for that, like supply is impossible, like original Picasso painting, or Van Gogh's painting, or so many other things. So in that case, like for example, Jackie Kennedy dies and her belonging, you can't supply additional stuff, so it has nothing to do with time after that. So in that case, supply is vertical. Talking about price elasticity supply, we have market period, which is like instant, which is really no time to supply anything, to increase supply. So if price go up, you can't even increase supply. We call it market period. Okay, supply is SM here. So in that case, price just go up if demand goes up. Okay? So demand goes up, price go up. Because supply is very inelastic, perfectly inelastic. Then you have short-run period. Short-run period means increase in demand with less intensity supply use. That causes lower increase in price. Okay? You have a very little short time to supply more if demand goes up. But you don't have lots of time. Okay? Then you have long-run period. That means increase in demand in the long run allows greater change that causes even more elastic response, less price increase. So price doesn't go up as much because supply goes up in response to increase in demand. The producers, sellers have enough time to adjust the supply. Now, another issue in supply, in elasticity of supply, is who pays the tax that imposed on sellers of goods such as gasoline, cigarette, alcohol? The answer is it all depends on degree of elasticity. How elastic or how inelastic it is. Then could be company pays it all, company pays some, or company doesn't pay any. Consumer paid. What decides who pays what part of tax increase? The answer is the more elastic is the demand, the more corporation pays, companies pays. the less elastic is the demand, the more consumer pay, because they don't show as much sensitivity to price increase or tax. So the case of partially shifting tax to buyers and partially to sellers is like this. Let's say government imposed tax, supply goes from S1 to S2. The difference between these two supplies is amount of tax, always. So the price originally was $1 in equilibrium. Now the new equilibrium price is $1.25. But the tax is 50 cents. Consumer only paying 25 cents. Who pays the other 25? Sellers. So sellers pay some, buyers pay some. It's a shared burden. Some buyers, some sellers. Okay? In that case, that's what it looks. How about when fully shifted tax to buyers? Well, if demand is vertical, perfectly inelastic, then whatever is tax amount, it will be paid by buyers. So let's say price was $1, now there is 50 cents tax, now price is $1.50 with the new supply and demand. So that means buyers pay everything. Sellers doesn't pay anything at all. So this is something we don't want as consumers. So, different elasticity, who pays the tax? So if the tax is $1, for example, from 15 to 16, let's say originally price is $15, now there is $1 tax, now supply shift to the left for that $1, and then the new equilibrium is at point B. Now the new price is $15.50 and Q2 is new equilibrium. As you see, buyers used to pay $15 for product, now pay $15.50. Now, so buyers is paying only 50 cents. Then who pays the other 50 cents? It's seller. So seller used to receive $15. Now, after they pay the government for tax, only receives $14.50. Okay? So this is shared responsibility of the tax. So let's say this is a DVD and it is $1 tax placed on sellers of DVD, shift supply from S1 to S2, raise equilibrium 15 to 15.5, part of tax paid by buyers through higher price paid, which is 15.5 instead of 15. Part of tax is paid by sellers through a lower price kept, 15.40 instead of 15. Here is some scenarios. Part A is when demand is perfectly inelastic. In that case, buyers pay the full burden of tax, full tax, as you see, from here to here. Part B is when sellers pay full tax, when demand is perfectly elastic. So we go from here to here for new equilibrium because of tax, supply shift to the left, and price still is $15. So buyers doesn't care. Buyer pays the same. But it's sellers who pays all the burden of the tax. Part C is buyer paying full tax when supply is perfectly elastic. So any tax just raises the price for consumers. Okay? And finally, part D, supply is perfectly inelastic. So any tax, seller has to pay full tax. Okay? Because supply cannot shift different ways. So sellers really pays all the tax. Supply is perfectly inelastic. Sellers pays all the tax here. Okay, so these are 4 scenarios. Make sure you remember that for your test or quiz. And this is summary of all elasticity, which is really good to remember. Now here is some self-test question. Means after you study this part, it tests you how much you know. So my recommendation to you is try to answer all of these questions, 6 questions, by yourself, without looking at my answer, based on your knowledge you understood so far. Hopefully, if you can answer all of that, that means you're really in good shape for your test. So you're prepared for quiz and test. If you can't, you should go back and study more and listen to the video one more time at least, and several more times. So let's see. Here is question number 1. What does price elasticity measure? It measures responsiveness of quantity supply to change in price. So if elasticity of supply more than 1, supply is elastic. If it's equal to 1, is unit elastic. If it's less than 1, is inelastic. Means not much of response. Explain the relationship that exists between price elasticity supply and length of time. Well, time is very important factor in determining price elasticity supply. In the long run, price elasticity supply tend to be higher than short run, since supplier has more time, more opportunity to adjust quantity supply in the long run. What does supply elasticity of 2 means? Well, that means value is 2. That means quantity supply rises by 2 times more than quantity percentage change in supply price. So percentage change in quantity supply is twice as percentage change in price. So the value is 2 and supply is elastic. How about what does perfectly inelastic supply signifies? Well, that means change in price does not change quantity supply at all. Quantity supply will be the same, like Van Gogh's painting. So supply is vertical. How about this? Why will government raise more tax revenue if it applies tax to good with inelastic demand than it applies tax to good with elastic demand? Well, because tax revenue is equal tax times quantity. If demand is inelastic, there will be a smaller cutback in quantity sold due to higher price brought about by the tax. That's the reason. Number 6, under what condition would a per unit tax placed on sellers of refrigerator be fully paid by buyers of refrigerator? Think about it. Under the condition that for demand for refrigerator is perfectly inelastic, or supply of refrigerator is perfectly elastic, only in that case is fully paid by buyers. See, you have to analyze all of that. It's not that bad if you understand the concept. Make sure, for this chapter and other economic chapter, make sure to really understand the concepts. Don't just memorize. Do not memorize things. Make sure you truly understand the concept. Once you understand the concept, then practice, practice, practice. That will be your key to success in your quiz and test. Okay? Alright. How about this numerical example? We want to calculate elasticity of supply. Price goes from 4 to 550. Quantity goes up from 120 to 140. So we want to know what's the elasticity. Well, remember that 5 step I told you about elasticity, how to calculate? Make sure you do a step by step. Make sure you really remember that page. So it's difference over average divided by difference over average. If you do that, your answer will be 0.487. That would be inelastic supply. Okay? You should practice that several times by yourself until you learn. Second numerical example. It says price goes from 8 to 10. Quantity supply goes from 4 to 20. So again, calculate the same way. Difference in quantity over average quantity divided by difference in price over average price. That will be 5.91. That means supply is very elastic. Okay? That means supply is very elastic. There is a strong reaction from suppliers to price increase. Okay, so please, if you want to understand all of that, if you want to do really well, go and practice, practice, practice. Again, understand concepts, then practice. Okay? And I hope you all do very well. Good luck. Thank you.